Ladies and gentlemen, shit's about to hit the fan.
What does everybody want?
Hello, everybody, boys and girls, and welcome to the first ever Heel Turn podcast. Today we have a very special guest, the Hawaiian Hammerhead, the Honolulu Guru, Sweet Tooth, Devious, Draven Post. Draven, how are you today?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, man. Thanks a bunch for coming on and being our first guest.
Hey, no problem at all. This is an honor for me. It's my first podcast, so I hope you haven't held anything back on me.
No, I won't hold anything back. Why don't we start with that thing around your waist? Tell me about that RCW All-American City Championship you have there.
Oh, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? This is my first. Oops, sorry, glare.
No,
This is my first championship I've ever won. I've been around one RCW event longer than this championship. So I was there when this title was introduced, and now I am the champion. Boys and girls, anybody watching, hard work does pay off.
So, Draven, tell me how you got that fine championship. Who'd you beat? Where'd you beat them? Tell me stuff like that.
All right, so RCW Global, episode 125. We're in the Akron Turner Club, and Miles Jacobs, Mr. Too Damn Thick. He quite a beating, but I with all the smarts I was getting from my partner Lionheart and my trainers, Diehard the Hunter and Alexander Crowley, I was able to roll him back into a crucifix pin that he couldn't get out of. So later, and looks like the Hawaiian Hammerhead got his first piece of I'd say gold, but it's more silver. So
You mentioned Lionheart. He's in a tag team with you called the Hawaiian Lions, correct?
yes, sir, and our manager Rory Angel.
And you guys are going to be defending, well, I guess you don't have the belts, but you guys are going to be going against the Pinnacle, Joe Zook and Kenny Collins at RCW twice a night before Christmas. Is that correct?
Yes, we are facing the Paradigm. They were members of the Pinnacle, but they evolved into the Paradigm.
My fault. Sorry about that. But why
no,
don't you
you're
go ahead
good.
and tell me about the Paradigm and your plans to
Oh, boy.
defeat them?
Oh boy, I don't want to give too much away in case they're watching, but you said defending. Well, you don't have the belts yet. See, Lionheart, Rory, and myself, we've all been discussing. Once we're done with the Paradigm, we want. This is nice and all, but we want those tag team championships. We want those around our waist. So that's the goal. And people say you dream big, and sometimes you'll get it, and sometimes you'll fall. But here's the thing: I've dreamt about this moment since I became a professional wrestler, and look at me now. So I guess without giving too much away, I'm gonna come at them with everything I've got. And Joe Zook, Kenny Collins, you guys are good. You guys are tag team champions elsewhere, but when Lionheart, myself, and Rory Angel are on our A games, we're unbeatable. I mean, I did pin Rick Lieb after all.
Speaking of Rick Lieb, he went from being your mentor to you pinning him in a tag team match to him kicking the crap out of you in retaliation. And then you guys here recently made up an RCW Spotlight, which I was just on, and I don't think him and I made up. And then you chained the door in a cage match at Grave Affair 3. Why don't you go ahead and tell me a little more about that?
Oh yeah, well, my knee, I can keep the brace off for a little bit. It'll feel a little tender for a little while, but you know, when being his intern and everything, I was taught to be low down and dirty and cheat. And you know what? Some of those tactics, they work. I still keep them. I don't use them, but they're in my arsenal if need be. And Rick, he decided to fight dirty and, go after my leg. And oh, he got the win over me at Art of War and brings my Art of War record up to 0-2. But, it's not about wins and losses. And, Rick, he kind of had it coming. Hard demanded the match in a steel cage. Hard told me, he's like, look, Rick does not do well with heights. So, he made up on Spotlight is a little strong, if you ask me. One of the things he said, and then him trying to smash my hand and him pushing me over was just sort of a breaking point for me. So I felt like one last little hurrah for me. Seeing him up at the top of the cage and clinging on for dear life because he doesn't have the guts to drop down.
Well, as I mentioned, I was on Spotlight this past Sunday with Rick Lieb, and he specifically told me to ask you about your past where you were talking to yourself and whatnot. Can you elaborate on this for me?
Okay. So, after I was fired as Rick's intern, after a beating that I took from Yeti and Monster Mayhem, more Yeti, Yeti was he beat me up, but he was a great guy. I miss him. So may Yeti rest in peace. I just want to get that out there now. So, I took chop after chop after chop after chop from Yeti. And the thing that did it, he booted me clear in the head. But then I had just a voice I never heard before, up into my head a couple days later. He said, hey, Rick is the reason that happened to you. At first, I was scared. I didn't know who that was. I thought somebody was talking to me. Somebody said this. Somebody said that. Oh, I look around and I'm just in an empty room. I hear the voice. He tells me, you need to go after Rick. You need to go after Rick. He told me who he was. I can't say who he was, though. But he was somebody very close to Rick who is no longer with us. And when I came out in October, I just knew that Rick was going to feel punishment at my hands. It was just a matter of when, and then in December, I got my global title match, and that one didn't go so well, and Rick beat me, and well, go on and on throughout the story, and I'm still talking to this person and all this stuff, and people are like, you're crazy. No, you're the crazy one. No. But then one day he says, look, I've spoken to somebody up here, and now I need to go away. I'm giving you help on the mortal world in the form of Lionheart and Amy. Until we meet again, this is goodbye. That was the last I ever heard of him. Once I started teaming with Lionheart and Amy, I still did it a little, but he said, this is actually time for me to go away. And I haven't heard from him since. And, well, I mean, he must be noticing we're doing a good job. Hawaiian Lions are, let me think here, we're 2-1 in tag matches.
Now, you mentioned Yeti. You were part of the Bunkhouse Brawl at this previous RCW event. How would you enjoy that carnage that I got to watch?
Oh, carnage is, I feel like a little light of a word there. Oh, that was my first steel cage match. It was brutal. I was hoping to come out and make Yeti proud. That didn't happen, and that's fine. But will say that Cage is unforgiving. The weapons didn't help at all. And I hope I didn't disappoint any of the fans when I got pinned by Paradigm member Joe Zook. But at Brave Affair, Cage Carnage, you know, besides the steel cage, it was a great night, great atmosphere, great crowd. I had a lot of people donating to my friend's cause. And that warmed my heart. So
why don't you go ahead and tell us about your friend's cause? Maybe we can get some more people to donate for you.
Okay. So at the last show, the last event, I had a jar that I wrote on it in magic marker. It said Cami Kaiser fund donations. Now, Cami Kaiser, if some people don't know, that was a good friend of mine. We went to middle school, high school, not in the same classes, but she was like a grade lower than me. But I would still talk to her every now and then. And May 12th, I actually don't have my necklace on. It's out in my car. She was shot and killed in Warren, Ohio. And we don't know who did it. Apparently, 20 people saw. There was some guy that was with her that also got shot after she passed away in the hospital from her injuries, from what I've heard. He got a tattoo on his neck for her, and he started being really rude and disrespectful to Cammy. Cammy was my friend who got shot. This guy started being really disrespectful to Cammy's mom and got his parents to be really disrespectful to her too. And they all blocked her for some reason. So if you ask me personally, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I don't mean to make this go on as long as it does, but or longer than it should be. But bit of a conspiracy theorist. I personally think he had something to do with it. If not, I don't know why he would have blocked them instead of saying he loves her so much, do anything for her, but then be like that to her mom. If you ask me. So
you have your jar there again at 'Twas the Night Before Christmas?
Yes, it will be there again. So basically, what the money I've gathered from these, the last event and the next one, and I've also have been putting away little bits of money from my paychecks, and even some of my bookings and T-shirt money and stuff like that into the jar. And I am in contacts with her mom, and I said, look, I will give you this jar. I'm not going to count it. I'm going to give it to you. This is to help find out who did this to her. and I want to put a message out there now because they might be watching or somebody who knows who shot Cammy did this. Just give up. There's no point in running. We're going to find you, and there will be justice for Cammy Lynn Kaiser. You look at my armband that I wore, it says KLK. That is for Cammy Lynn Kaiser. I wear a necklace down to the ring that my friend Carly Grassick. Check out Carly's Woodburn. Just want to get it out there. She makes awesome stuff. She made a little keychain things, but I put it on my gold chain necklace. It's got a wood-burned heart. Then on the back, it's Cammy's handwriting. It says Cammy Kaiser with a little butterfly charm on it. I told her I don't care what color, I just want one. Give her the money. She gave it to Clarissa, Cammy's mom, and all the proceeds. She paid all of that out of pocket just to. So Carly's a heck of a person too. So yeah, if you guys want to donate, you can find me at any RCW shows. Hit me up on Facebook. Have Cash App if you want to do that, Facebook Pay, whatever. I'll make sure it gets to Clarissa. She's got stuff too. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. I don't want to mess up the recording either. So that's the best way to do it right now.
Well, Draven, it looks like you have a good cause there and you're doing some good stuff. I want to move into a segment we're going to do on every show called the 7+1. This is going to be 7 rapid fire questions at you and then one with a little longer explanation if you don't mind.
Okay.
First one, what's your favorite wrestler of all time?
All right. A lot of people are going to laugh at me for this one. John Cena.
Second one, NWO or DX?
That's a hard one. As much as I want to say NWO, I met Scott Hall and everything, I got to go with DX. I grew up watching more WWE than anything, so DX.
Would you rather be a wrestler, a booker, a promoter, or a ref? If you could only pick one.
Could only pick one. Booking would be hard because people, there's some politics, not RCW, but there are some politics in wrestling. I don't think I could really do that too much to full point. Like I could assist, but no, I'd rather be a wrestler than anything else.
Taco or burger? You hear me? Uh-oh.
No, sorry. I think we had a connection issue. We're on 3.
All right. Taco or burger?
Oh. Oh, man. So, I like both, but I did wrestle in Columbus at a taco margarita festival. I will say, Gator tacos, I'm going to give the nod to the taco. Actually, I probably am going to get Taco Bell after this. So.
All right. Here's a little bit longer one. If you could win one championship belt from any promotion, but you'd never win another champion again, which belt?
That'd be a hard one. I do like this. You know what? I know a lot of people will probably say, oh, I want to win the WWE Championship, or I want to win this, or I want to win this. Not me. Personally, from just one company, if I never make it to WWE, I would always want to win the RCW Tag Team Championships with my boy Lionheart. If I did make it to WWE, Intercontinental Championship all the way.
Favorite cocktail? Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, what was that, man?
Favorite cocktail?
Favorite cocktail? I've actually cut out a lot of alcohol, but when I did drink,
Doesn't have to be alcoholic.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be alcoholic.
Favorite drink. Let's put it that way.
Favorite drink. Okay. I go, but if you're talking about cocktails, I will say I did have one that was my favorite to drink as an alcoholic drink, and that was a White Russian.
Would you rather be a heel or a face?
Being the heel is so much fun, and I've done that through most of my career. In West Virginia, I am solely heel. I don't know if I'll ever go face there. If I do, I'll just do my best. Personally, though, I like being the good guy. I like being the face. I like getting people happy. I like people like, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. I get so many people. I'll be walking around. I'll have this, and people will be like, "Oh, you beat that fat guy for it," and I'm like, "Yeah." They were like, "Yeah, can we have your autograph? Can we get a picture?" I was like, "Shoot, yeah." Like at Walmart last night, actually, I didn't have this, but I had this shirt on, and they were like, "Wait, we just saw you on YouTube. Can we get a picture? Can we get your autograph?" Sure. Like I like that. That makes me feel good to make people feel happy.
All right, and here's the +1, so you can go a little longer on this one. If you could wrestle anyone from anywhere, live or dead, doesn't even have to be a wrestler, who would you wrestle?
That's a hard one. That is a very hard one. Alive or dead?
Doesn't even have to be a wrestler.
Doesn't have to be a wrestler. You know what? I'm gonna say he is a wrestler. He's dead. Okay, he wasn't always a wrestler, but I think if the crowd was right, if I was the face and he was the heel, and his title was on the line, I think that crowd would lose it because people would pay to see me whoop his behind. Andy Kaufman.
Nice. All right, Draven, it was nice having you on the very first Heel Turn podcast. Go ahead and give us one more thing to leave us off on.
All right.
And don't say anything bad about the camera work at RCW.
Oh, no. Actually, I like that camera work. I will say there was before I go, you mind if I tell a couple stories or like 2 stories?
Go
ahead. Okay. So, first story, before I started training, this was not RCW, there was another show. I showed up and I said, "Hey, can I help be a part of the show?" They were like, "Well, if you have $30, you can do a tryout and we'll think about it." I said, "Okay." Did the tryout. They said, "Yeah, we don't know." They said, "If you want to come train, pay $2,000, come to the school in Akron." I didn't drive. I didn't have a license. I didn't have $2,000. So I was like, "Okay, I'll think about it." And I started like getting ready to go find my friends because I was just gonna leave and come back for the show. And one dude comes up. He's like, "Hey, you want to work camera?" I said, "Sure." He's like, "Yeah, this is all we can really get you on for the show." And I was like, "Camera's something." He's like, "Yeah, just don't press this button." I was like, "Okay."
You press the button.
No, I was pressing it the whole time because of how my fingers were. And you'd see like, zoom in, zoom out. That was the zoom button, and I kept pressing it, and it would go zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. And the dude was like looking back over the footage there, like, "I thought I told you not to hit the button." I was like, I didn't know I was. And the last thing I want to leave off saying, so I started watching wrestling when I was 5. There was a period in there where I didn't watch wrestling But I'm not going to talk about that. That was a moment where I wasn't really so much allowed to watch wrestling. So growing up, I never had tons of money. My parents divorced when I was 4 years old. My dad went and lived in an attic at his friend's house. My mom kept the trailer. Um, when my dad finally got a trailer of his own in Ravenna, Ohio, and my mom stayed in Garrettsville, Ohio, my mom moved on and found somebody. My dad tried to move on, but the one thing me and my dad always bonded over was professional wrestling. Um, we always sat, like, he would come get us on every other weekend and Tuesdays at first, and then it switched to Wednesdays. And for my 5th birthday, he got me the John Cena spinner toy foam belt, and he got me the first Raw vs. SmackDown game and a PS2. That's all I would play. I would just play that, and and watch wrestling with my dad. And you know, growing up, not having a whole lot, I wanted to be a professional wrestler, and then there was a show that came out on Cartoon Network that was about thumb wrestlers, and I was like, yeah, I want to be the big time. I want to be a professional wrestler, and my mom was totally against it. Uh, she's like, I don't want you being a pro wrestler. I want you to do this, that, and the other. And she, like, I wasn't really too much allowed to watch wrestling because I used to just joke around at my grandparents' house. I'm a kid. I'm full of energy. I'm like 8 years old, and I'm like doing something, and I said something that somebody said on TV and to my grandpa, and he's like, that was very disrespectful, and it started kind of a fight because I think I called him a jabroni too and stuff, and you know, but then I started watching again, and things were good between me and my grandparents, and me and my mom, and me and my dad. And my mom, even now, she still doesn't totally agree that I do the wrestling, and that's fine. My mom is more accepting. She's proud that I am the champion. My dad's proud that I'm the champion. My mom says she wishes I wouldn't do it, but she can't stop me, and she knows she can't. But I just want to say to anybody watching, no matter when somebody tells you you can't, like I said, I grew up watching wrestling from 5, coming home every Friday watching SmackDown with my dad sitting on our couch. From when I said I was going to be a professional wrestler, I was laughed at school. I was laughed at home by certain family members. I was told I'll never be a wrestler. I was told I never had the muscles and all this stuff, or I got to start working out, and I did. Now they're not as big as they could be, but I'm getting there. I started taking things more seriously. I cut out drinking. I started dieting, lifting more, stuff like that. Progressing my training even further, even though I am the champion, your learning is never really over. But I want to say this to anybody who's been told they can't, who gets laughed at by whether it's parents, teachers, friends, other family members, this, that, and the other. That was me. I was laughed at too. And now look at me. So I just want to say, if you've been laughed at because maybe you don't want to be a wrestler, maybe you want to be a cop, maybe you want to be a fireman, maybe you want to be president, astronaut, this, that, and the other, what have you. If you're laughed at and told, no, you can't do it, just say, no, one day I'm going to prove you wrong. And one day you put your mind to it, get up and work hard at it, you will.
Well, Draven, you and Lionheart are going to be taking on Joe Zook and Kenny Collins at RCW's 'Twas a Night Before Christmas, December 17th at Akron Turner's Club, Ben. I'm looking forward to seeing you there, and thanks again for being our first guest.
Hey, no problem, man. And Paradigm, you're going down December 17th when the Hawaiian Lions beat you. And I'm going to crack both Kenny Collins and Joe Zook's head like coconuts.
Thanks, and see you next week. Peace out.